Alright, so if you have clicked on this video, that is because you find self-improvement kinda hard or boring. And there is a reason for that. That's what I'm here to tell you. I am here to tell you that there is a reason for that, in which we are going to look at that reason in this video and effectively solve this problem right here, so that you can find self-improvement, training, cold showers, martial arts, working on your business, going to school, studying, reading, all of the different self-improvement habits that you are finding a bit hard nowadays to actually do successfully. We're going to make all of these a lot more fun and way less boring and a lot easier to do. So if that is exactly what you want, this is the right video for you. So before I go into how to make self-improvement a lot easier and way more fun for you, I want to mention that if you want to be a part of a great, inspiring community and you want to be way closer with me, you want more of the value that I have to give, I have a free community called Life Club, which you can join by clicking the top link in bio for exactly that. Now let's discuss the number one reason why you find your work, self-improvement, or doing your daily duties so unfulfilling, so boring, so unexciting, and so hard to effectively do. The number one reason for that is because you are not getting the amount of dopamine when doing the task that you should be getting. So for this to make sense, let me quickly explain what dopamine actually is. So what dopamine is a chemical that is released every single time that you do something that feels good. Dopamine, also known as the feel-good chemical, is released within your brain every single time that you do something healthy that feels good, as well as every single time that you do something unhealthy, something bad for you, that feels good. So every single time you scroll reels on YouTube and someone says something funny, you laugh. That is dopamine. Every single time that you eat food, even healthy food, that is dopamine. All of this pleasure right here you're engaging in is giving you dopamine. That is why you like it. So with this being said, what your conquest essentially is here is just for you to increase the amount of dopamine that you are getting when doing your daily tasks, when on self-improvement, when working, and so on. And the thing about dopamine is that you only have a limited amount of dopamine within your day. So when you go through your day just scrolling reels, watching, indulging in smoking cigarettes, eating bad foods, sugar, processed foods, listening to spammy music, high stimulating music, and you're just constantly on it. You're constantly giving yourself this unhealthy kind of stimulation, all this dopamine. Of course, when that is you, of course you feel that going to the gym is super boring, and therefore it is super hard, and therefore you don't do it consistently. Obviously, because you don't have that much dopamine left at 7 p.m. when you want to go to the gym if you have been constantly stimulated throughout your entire day. So the trick here is really just to do what is called a dopamine detox. What I've done successfully the past 24 hours so far in today, and also the entire yesterday. I am on what's called a dopamine detox right now, and a dopamine detox essentially just mean that you cut out all the bad stimulants that you normally engage in. So things like social media, things like highly stimulating music, things like sugar or unhealthy foods, and so on. All of these unhealthy things that feel good to you when you are doing it in the moment, that is what you need to cut off. And what happens when you cut it off is incredible. You suddenly start to feel like your work is actually exciting. Why? Because you have really nothing to compare it with. Imagine that you are playing video games for 8 hours in your day and you then go to the gym. Now the gym is boring. Why? Because you have played video games. You have set the standard in video games for 8 hours that day, and now you go to the gym. Obviously, you feel like it's super boring. But what if you didn't do anything but read for the entire day. So imagine that you'll just read or do something that doesn't give you a bunch of dopamine, a bunch of negative dopamine, right? Negative dopamine, unhealthy dopamine throughout the entire day. And then you'll go to the gym. Now the gym is suddenly very exciting. Like you see one person and you're excited to speak to that guy, you're excited to lift, you get the pump in, and you're excited, you're happy. It's suddenly not super boring to be out in the gym and train. Why? Because you have nothing bad to compare it to. So therefore it now suddenly is very exciting. It feels very good. You get a bunch of dopamine by just working out because you haven't gotten a bunch of dopamine or way more dopamine by doing the bad, instantly stimulating activities. So this right here, dopamine detox, is the key to making your life a lot easier. And obviously it's going to be a bit hard in the start. Like yesterday, I got a bit angry at about dinner time, and I sat there while eating, actually before eating, and I really just, thought about going in and just, watching some TV shows, right, and just entertaining myself. But I didn't, and I'm glad that I didn't, right, because I could sit and be watching that right now. But I'm creating a video, and I feel like it's exciting for me to do the work because I haven't compared it to anything. I haven't had anything negative or more stimulating than work to compare it to the last 36 hours or something like that. So therefore dopamine detoxing is the key, and if you find work hard, just know that it will not be hard for long. But if you just do this dopamine detox, you just do an effective dopamine detox 1 day, 2 days, something like that, and then when you go do your work, or throughout the time when you do your work, you're going to find it way more exciting. And obviously you're going to miss TikTok, you're going to miss the bad foods and all that stuff, but it is well worth it, trust me. And when you get used to being on a dopamine detox, you just start to feel so much more calm, so much less ADHD. I highly believe that dopamine detoxing is actually the key to ADHD. So if you have ADHD like myself, you're going to feel way less of an ADHD kind of person if you will just dopamine detox for a day or two, or even longer, a week, 2 weeks, a month, right? You're going to feel great. So with that, I highly recommend that you get onto a dopamine detox so that you can find your work and your self-improvement and so on way more exciting. So if you are excited to try out dopamine detoxing, I do actually have a protocol inside of my community which will pretty much just show you what is allowed and what is not allowed in order to actually consider yourself on a dopamine detox. So you can definitely check out that inside of my community, and you can also just join if you want to be a part of that community, to be closer with me, and obviously to be a part of the community and have the access to all the courses and stuff that is in there. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, go subscribe, and that is all I had to say for this video. Thank you so much for watching, God bless all of you, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace.